Hello to all of our viewers here on Agenda. I'm Cito Beltran, your host. Welcome to the program. And you are watching us via Signal TV channels 8 and 250, as well as on facebook.com/OneNewsPH. Kung meron po kayong mga kaibigang hindi nakakapanood, pakishare na lang po yun. And please encourage everyone to sign up for Signal TV, especially kayong mga nasa probinsya, dahil kahit saan umaabot ang Signal TV. In any case, welcome to the program. Today is February 2, 2021. Okay? And 2021. Okay? Huwag kayong tataya. Do not use that for Lotto. It's a Tuesday, and today we are going to continue in the current events or current concerns. Kahapon po, napag-usapan natin yung PMVIC at saka yung pagbababo, yung price cap on the price of chicken and hogs. And today, we still continue with a motoring interest. Hindi po dahil ako ay motoring journalist o mahilig sa kotse, hindi po. Marami na naman po kasi kahapon mainit ang ulo doon sa PMVIC. They were obviously the spokesperson, Boy Evangelista, was representing thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Filipinos who are angry because of the PMVIC, because of the 1,800 testing fee, and and then the 900 or 900 peso retest if your car fails the test. And today, medyo pag-usapan po natin itong car seat law, which I personally support. Alam niyo po, nagkaroon na rin tayo ng anak. Nung baby yung aking anak na beloved daughter, Hannah, we bought her a car seat. Pinagpalit ko yung isang napakamahal na bote ng wine na nirigalo sa akin. Pinagpalit ko sa isang car seat kasi mahal din yung car seat. You use one gift to get another gift for my daughter. And I would not, if I had to do it all over again, I will still put a car seat in the car. Kanya lang po, eto na naman tayo. It is the interpretation, it is the wording of the law, etc. Medyo parang napapaglaruan or kine-question. Kasi sa bansa, in a country where if someone says, I am 5 foot tall, ibig sabihin 4'11" and below, medyo maraming angry. Kasi parang yung 4'11" ang naging batayan kung kailan ka pwedeng mag-seatbelt o hindi mag-seatbelt. Medyo I could think of several people. Meron na nga mga senior citizen na hindi umabot sa 5 feet. Mainit ang ulo. Sabi, lalagay niyo ako sa car seat? Yun. Okay, so for that purpose, we will go to Congressman Edgar Sarmiento, Chairman of the House Committee on Transportation, to talk about car seat, the private motor, PMVIC, etc., and other areas, pati yung privatization of jeepney. And then susundan po siya ni former senator, and I hope sana mag-senador ulit dahil marami naman siyang magagaling na batas. Senator JV Ejercito, author of the Child Safety in Motor Vehicles Act. Kasi siya po, ginagawa niya yung batas dahil mahal niya yung mga anak niya at saka anak natin. Or ewan ko kung may anak ba si JV, hindi ko na alam eh. Tagal ko na hindi nakausap. Pero pagmamahal sa bata at pag-aalaga sa bata. So pag-usapan natin lahat yan with a good senator in the second half of the program. Okay, so in the meantime, let's go take a look at the front page of the Philippine Star. President Rodrigo Duterte has signed the price ceiling on selected pork and chicken products to curb the rising costs of food. The order takes effect immediately at sabi ng kanyang spokesman, ang hindi sumunod ay lalabag sa batas at paparusahan ng batas. Okay. 71 close contacts of 12 UK variant cases in Bontoc have tested positive for COVID-19. Sa madaling salita, yung 12 na nagkaroon ng UK variant sa Bontok, na mukhang doon sa mga nakahalubilo nila, 71 may COVID, no? Over 400 people who came in contact with the variant cases have already been traced, says the DOH. Almost half of them yielded negative results, while over 80 have yet to be tested. Okay, so yan po, no, just to calm people, yan po, nagkahawahan dahil may okasyon, nagparty, may mga nag-reunion or mayroong binyagan or something. Hindi po yan dahil napakalupit nitong UK variant, and they're still trying to figure out kung itong 71 ba ito ay COVID case lang o UK variant, as the case may be. So, medyo kasi kailangan ko pong gawin to. I have to make this clarification because some of you might start freaking out, and then, it's don't rush into this idea. So, in any case, patuloy po ang contact tracing and testing, etc. Still news about the pandemic. Carl Kendrick Chua, Acting Director General of the National Economic Development Authority or NEDA, says that a relaxed quarantine is possible in March. Okay, maganda pong balita yan kasi I know as far as the economists and business people are concerned, they really want a more relaxed quarantine status for Metro Manila para rin naman tayo makabiyahe rin doon sa kapwa MGCQ kung maging MGCQ tayo. Pero sa totoo lang po, no, parang pre-preho lang naman eh. Dami nung nakakabiyahe, nakakaalis. May mga kilala nga ako, nagpupunta na kung saan-saan. I think we should just, become a little more transparent and just open the gates a little. Pero, double up on public information. Okay, and by the way, no, Mr. President, gawin mo na secretary itong si Ginoong Carl Kendrick Chua ng NEDA or Director General ng NEDA. Ba't ba ang dami nating acting at saka officer in charge na sa gobyerno? You give them all the responsibility, they have to do all the work, but they don't get the salary, the title, and the authority to do their work or the work placed upon their shoulder. Panta ka sa NEDA, sa DepEd, sa Bureau of Animal Industry, sa Department of Agriculture. Ang dami ko na pong nakasamang puro acting at OIC. Kayo naman, mga nandiyan dyan, gawan naman yun ang paraan yan. Okay. Meanwhile, the Chinese embassy in Manila says that Beijing's new Coast Guard law is no threat of war. The new law authorizes China's Coast Guard to fire on foreign vessels, but Beijing says enacting a Coast Guard law like such is not unique to China. Totoo nga naman, kasi may mga Chinese boats na pinalubog na doon sa may Indonesia. Meron na rin pinahalayas, pero pinutukan doon sa Singapore. Meron na rin tinamaan doon sa may bandang Malaysia. Diba? Dito lang sa Pilipinas, hi, peace man! Nung pantitiro namin sa inyo, baka mamaya kami pulutin, hindi sa kangkong ako, hindi sa bahura. In any case, yan po. No? So, and over in Myanmar, the military seized power in a coup as democratically elected leader Aung San Suu Kyi has been detained with other leaders of her party. Malacanang says the country is prioritizing the safety of Filipinos in Myanmar and says it will not meddle in what it calls an internal matter. Bakit? Kaya ba natin? Ewan ko kasi alam mo niya, kakawa naman yung spokesman eh. May mga nagtatanong kasi, will we do something about it? Are we going to take a position? Parang, anong pake namin dyan sa Myanmar? At saka bakit? Kaya ba natin? In any case, that's a sad reminder when the military takes over government. It is hard to run a house when it is full of people who don't want you to run it and want it to run it by themselves. So yan, nakulong na yung kapit-kapitagang kinikilalang Aung San Suu Kyi. But you know, it was expected. Okay, let's go to our first interview of the day. Let's go to Congressman Edgar Sarmiento, Chairman, House Committee on Transportation. Mr. Congressman, welcome back to Agenda.
Thank you so much, Cito. Magandang umaga po sa inyo. Thanks for inviting me.
Okay, Congressman, pakitulungan mo naman ako. Ang hirap sagutin yung masyadong maraming galit, mainit na ulong member ng Barangay 411. Yung mga samahan ng mga hindi nakalampas sa 411. I hope lampas ka sa 411, baka pati ako awayin mo. Ano ba height mo, Congressman?
On the average lang naman, Cito, around 5'6".
Okay na yun, okay yun.
Pwede na, pasado na.
Alam mo, kasi kung sinabi mong 5, sasabihin ko, sinungaling, 4'11 ka, di ba? Ganun yung lokohan sa Pilipinas. But in any case, a lot of people made comments on Facebook and I've seen some ridiculous, some hilarious memes on Facebook. May isang hindi nga bata adult na, 4'11, nilagay sa car seat. Sabi ko, pag hindi naman tinamaan ng kalokohan ito, what can you say about this situation? Is it a case of people just having fun, making fun, or do you see lapses or problems in the law?
Cito, the law is 11229. It's the Child Safety in Motor Vehicles Act, brought about by the United Nations ruling on 44 and 129. We just have to be compliant. And this was signed into law February of 2019. However, we enrolled it July of 2018 pa po ito. But we never saw the pandemic coming, Cito. Alam mo naman yan. So, the action plan right now of the House of Representatives, of course, as the chairman of the Committee on Transportation, is to discuss it with the Speaker, Lord Alan Velasco. And we wrote already a letter to the Department of Transportation and the LTO. We are appealing to hold first implementation. Bakit po? Number one, we are still under the state of calamity up to September of 2021.
Okay.
Pangalawa po, there's a ruling right now on IATF that 10 years old and below, you're not allowed to go out, brought about by this pandemic. So useless po pag inimplementa natin itong batas nito. Although we see the importance of the law, pero may underlying issues at events that will overrule itong implementation of this law. Pangatlo po, on Section 11 of 11229, Cito, maliwanag po, bago po i-roll out, kailangan muna ng nationwide public information, supposedly, prior to roll out. Then the oversight function of Congress comes in. Tatanungin sana natin kung dito ba sa implementing rules and regulations, sinaba ba ng Department of Transportation, sinaba ba nilang Department of Health, Department of Interior and Local Government, the Philippine National Police, the Highway Patrol Group, specifically Metro Manila Development Authority, and finally the Child Welfare Act. Marami pong implikasyon. So ako naman sumulat na po sa kanila. We are appealing muna kung pwede, wag na muna. No? And to address the issue 411, sinasabi po, child. No? Pag kayo naman, to qualify the child, hanggang 12 anyos. And 18 years old and above, kahit po hindi tayo sunerte na matangkad tayo, exempted na po tayo roon sa booster na tinatawag. No?
Okay.
However, ang maliwanag rin pag sinasabi, pag kahit po tayo bata, sana binasa po ng hustot. Dito po nagkagulo kasi there was series of interviews and we respect the executives through the Department of Transportation, the Land Transportation Office. Sana naman, bago i-roll out ang project sana, pinaalam muna sa publiko. No? Kaya nagkagulo-gulo tayo. And again, Cito, we don't want another RFID fiasco. Roll out natin, hinto na naman natin. So I think it's not the appropriate time brought about by the series of events. And we have to consider, Cito, through your show, I'm very thankful that you give me such an opportunity. The Filipino, the global community, we are really hard up economically. Anything that will cause the people to spend now, hindi po nararapat, tingin ko po. it's not the right time.
You know, Congressman, allow me to come in there, no? Because hindi naman ako sa pagmamalaki kasi pinauna ko na kanina na nakakuha ako ng maganda, I mean, decent car seat para sa anak ko 20 years ago. Yeah, about 20 or 19 years ago. Pinagpalit ko lang sa regalo sa akin na napakamahal na bote ng wine kasi hindi ko kayang bilhin yung car seat. Abay, tinamaan ng lintik na mga car seat yan, 3,000 ang, ewan ko kung may 3,000 ha, parang paga 6,000 to 10,000 yung mga magaganda. Sabi ko, saan ko kukuha ng pera? Itong mga, sabagay, ang kontra naman ng DOTR, may kotse ka, may panggasolina ka, mahal mo ang anak mo, dapat may pambili ka rin ng car seat. Pero your point is, wag muna now kasi may pandemic pa at economically dapa tayong lahat.
Pangalawa, ulitin ko lang, Sito, no? Yung sinasabi natin, nasa IATF guideline po yan at the President said himself, hindi po pwedeng lumabas po ang 10 years old and below. So kung pipilitin po natin ito, hindi po nararapat. Maybe there will be an appropriate time for this. And again, I will be appealing, sure enough, we, the House of Representatives, Congress, crafted the law. Pero when we crafted the law, we never saw this pandemic coming, Sito.
Yeah.
Kaya anything that will entail expenses to the people, kahit man ginawa po ito ng Congress, kahit po napaka-importante ng batas, ako siyempre, binabayaran po ng tao, ng sahod ko lang. In fact, nahiya nga po ako. This is the right time. So, kung papagastusin natin Sito, again, the spirit of the law, the intention is very good, but we just have to understand there is more priority out there. Ihirap talaga ang tao, and that is the most important thing right now.
Okay, Congressman Sarmiento, you touched on a subject that I believe is a national disease in the national government. And I'm not being critical, kasi ilang beses ko nang sinabi ito, nagturo ako ng mga 500, more than 500 students sa DAP regarding communications. It seems that the national disease particular to the DOTR is the lack of communication and the failure to always follow what you said, appropriate public information campaign. They failed in the RFID. Once again, they failed to do that with the Private Motor Vehicle Inspection Center program. And now we have this thing with the car seat. I just get the impression that, yes, they have the right motives and they are adhering to the dictates of the law. But when it comes to public information, public consultation, and communication, parang wala. What are you planning to do about this? Because this can't go on. At one point, it has to either be a case of gawin mo o kulong ka.
Sito, to answer clearly on your question, number one, as a co-equal branch of government, I will be appealing to the Secretary. But before any rollout, it's proper. In fact, it is in the law. Section 11, it states nationwide public information campaign. Maliwanag na maliwanag. So, dapat naman siguro, as the father of the Department of Transportation, it's appropriate. I have my hats off on Secretary Tugade. He's a good friend, but there are so many agencies under him. I think I made a diagram of it. You have the aviation cluster, you have the maritime cluster, you have the surveys cluster, the railways, of course, and the road sectors. Napakadami po. And I have respect as well on Secretary Galvante. But the people beneath them, the Carrier Executive Service officers who run supposedly government, because papalitan naman natin Sito ang secretary once every 6 years, once you have a new president. No? Dapat itong sa ilalim. Kaya tayo po nagpasa ng batas to strengthen itong naibang agenda, itong tinatawag natin Carrier Executive Service officers, because they are supposed to be there to run this country. Kagaya ko po, I'm elected official. Sana naman dumating ang panahon, kung may batas man, the most important thing is communication.
Okay,
touch base with the people.
Yeah, Congressman, look, I'm not making this personal, no, or personality focused, because the implementation of the law and what the law says is regardless of personality.
Tama
Whether
po.
it's the president or houseboy, sabi ng batas, ito ang dapat natin gawin. So, there is a failure, not just with the OTR. It happens in so many departments of government, past and present, na gagawa ng programa o magpapasa ng batas ang Kongreso pero walang public information at pagpapatupad na, nag-aaway na tayong lahat, pati media sasabihin, kayong media, gawa kayo gulo. Pinapalabas namin dahil ayaw ninyong sabihin. Now, the question is, Congressman, when you guys, like this one, the Child Seat Act, okay, when this is released, there is a provision that there must be appropriate public information campaign. Do you provide money for those appropriate public information campaign? Kasi sinasabi sa akin ng mga estudyante ko, kuyang, gagawa ng batas, sasabihin ganito, wala namang budget.
Cito, we have government station and we appeal as well. It's something that is really for free. Information dissemination doesn't cost anything at all. Much more considering right now the social media. All you have to do is inform the public that there is such a law. Less pandemic siguro pwedeng gawin. Now, however, considering pandemic, but still the process of communicating to the people, that is the most important thing in any aspect in life, Cito. No? The most important thing is really communication. Whatever government does, paalam muna natin sa tao that there's such a plan. 6 months from now, that's usually the time frame that any law will take effect. Not on the 6 months, considering normal time, ito pong sisimulan before rolling out on anything. Tingnan mo na lang ang ginawa. Sasabihin, by February 1, magsisimula na po ang Child Seat Act. Tapos po, gagastos. Tapos mamaya sasabihin may kolatilya. 6 na buwan, hindi po kami manghuli. Ba't hindi na rin baliktarin? 6 months from now, magkakaroon po ng Child Seat Act, no, implementa. Siguro maghanda na po kayo. On a normal time, siguro Cito. No? But again, true enough, we have such a law. But again, ulitin ko lang, Cito through your show, nakikiusap muna kami sa Kongreso, the House of Representatives. Ginawa man namin ng batas, kanya lang Cito, we have to consider the most important problem we have right now brought about by this pandemic. The economic hardship of everyone. Napakahirap talaga.
Congressman Sarmiento, you pointed out something very valid. It doesn't require money kasi may social media nga. And katulad nitong programa, you are being interviewed on the program so that we can inform the public on what is true, what is false. Here's the problem, and maybe outside of the Committee on Transport, maybe pwede ka nang manawagan sa ibang congressman, patawag na natin yung mga members of the executive department, o patawag ninyo, na bakit nagkakapilian or they don't want to take advantage of interviews, invitations by media, pahirapan, and everything is centralized doon sa Malacanang. And then pagka ganyang in-announce, biglang sasabihin choosy or pasaway or matigas ulo, etc. I'm sorry, no, I know you are on the Committee on Transport, but everything you do becomes useless if the implementors don't share the information with the audience and with the public.
Through the Committee on Transportation, Cito, tingin ko hindi po kami nagkukulang because we have constant committee hearings. And so sad, hindi lang masyado nakaka-cover. The mainstream right now, media is very important because that time, during the first months of the pandemic, Zoom was very up. But right now, people are shifted back to mainstream. That's television, of course, to your channel. So again, I will be appealing to your show. And the only way for me to respond well, if I will be given a series of interviews. So sad na these are sensitive issues. You have here the chairman of the Committee on Transportation of the House of Representatives through the leadership of Speaker Lord Alan Velasco. I believe so. I cannot judge myself, but as your public servant, I am here to tell the truth, no less, no more.
Okay,
Yan po.
Congressman, We'll go for a 1-minute break. When we return, I'd like to discuss with you naman yung private motor vehicle inspection centers and of course yung privatization ng jeepneys, etc. Please stay with us. We'll be right back here on Agenda. Welcome back to the program Agenda, and we have just been discussing the car seat law with Congressman Edgar Sarmiento, chairman of the Committee on Transport. Chairman, Congressman, what about the private motor vehicle inspection center? Medyo, I'm sure you've read enough on it, you've listened and watched, and a lot of people are very unhappy. Number one, from the, again, lack of transparency. Number two, lack of public information, exorbitant prices, and then sabi nila medyo hindi accurate, etc., etc. Plus, I think more crucial is the fact that the government and the DOTR has the money to put up its own, but we are giving this program to private individuals who will be making a lot of money for at least, I figure, mga 20 years.
Cito, the stand of the House of Representatives pertinent to the private motor vehicle inspection centers that December of 2019, to be specific, there was a pending motion when the project was about to roll out, to be rolled. Sana sabi namin, hindi, titingnan muna namin ito. Because we have to come up with a good process. No? Kanya lang nahabol tayo ng pandemic 2020. This is already December. And even up to now, there's such a pending motion. The action plan of the House, ito ganito. We wrote them September of 2020, reminding them, do not roll out this project kasi inaalam pa po namin ang sistema sana to come up with a good manual prior to rolling out. 2 weeks ago, sumulat na naman kami. And again, we are appealing. Wag muna rito. Wag muna tayo ngayon. We even push back registration because alalahanin po natin nung nagkaroon po tayo ng ECQ, this was March to April or May. Wala pong, everybody was put to hold. Yung 3 months period na yon, wala pong rehisto noon. So that was the first question. How do we address the backlog of registration? Because you need an emission testing result. These things we have to address first. Bago tayo, pumunta muna sa level dito sa private motor vehicle inspection centers. But sinasabi namin, in fairness, that is the power of Congress dito, an oversight function, to come up with a manual once we already actually inspected the entire members of the Committee on Transportation. We agree to that. Ngayon, kung makikita natin ni-roll out, iilang lang muna ni-roll out. Remember, there are 81 provinces of this country, 145 cities, 1,470 municipalities. By itself, yung PETC center natin, this was before private emission testing centers. Saan po tayo nagpapatesting ng usok? This is around 1,800 testing centers all throughout the country to address law and supply demand. Ngayon, kung you will just come up with a number, tapos sisimulan mo na sa Luzon, paano si Visayas, paano si Mindanao? Ang sagot ko dyan, Cito, wag muna. Tingnan muna natin lahat ng proseso. Dapat nagsasabay-sabay ito. Paano natin nagkaroon tayo rito ng sinasabi natin ng private emission, may cost po ito. No? At
Bakit walang
magkanong
bidding?
bayaran? Sana paano natin na-address yung brand new vehicles, hanggang ilang years muna bago isalang sila sa PMBIC. Maraming tanong po ang dapat malalaman. At again, to come up with a good note, we should have a standard manual or policy brought about agreed. Huwag tayong reactive. Dapat proactive tayo kasi may cost po ito. Hindi po ito libre. And again, babalik po tayo, pandemya po tayo. And remember Presidential Proclamation 1021. Ano sinasabi? State of calamity hanggang September of 2021 by itself. Hirap po tayo. I think the President said the number yesterday, we're losing 2 billion a day in terms of economic value. Yung sahod po. And now we gonna allow them again to spend. Now, as a member of the House of Representatives, Cito, I don't think so it's proper right now.
So what action are you planning to take? Because hindi naman sa ginagatungan kita, Congressman,
No.
ano? And maybe I'm speaking out of ignorance, but that sounds like contempt. It's like you wrote several times, you requested, and yet they ignored.
There is a scheduled committee hearing because there are House resolutions filed pertinent to the issue. We have a new rule in the House kasi, Cito, no? We cannot come up with a motu proprio hearing anymore unless otherwise somebody will file a House resolution or a House bill pertinent to the issue. And somebody filed a House resolution, I think Deputy Speaker Rufus Rodriguez, and we will hear it the soonest time possible to address the issues. No? Kasi ang daming nababasa natin, hindi proper. And you have here the House of Representatives, the House of the People, clearly, to the leadership of Lord Alan Velasco, doesn't want this. Even the President, I believe so, doesn't want this. The reason why he put on hold RFID. And again, I have to call a spade, Cito.
Okay.
No? Para bang, ito na naman.
At least, Congressman, you've done me a favor this morning. Ikaw na nagsalita. Kasi ako, medyo galit na sa akin yung mga tiga-DOTR. Sabi ko, please try to understand. Ayaw nyo kasing mag-consult. Ayaw din yung mag-public information. Tapos napipilitan kami. Tapos kayo galit sa amin sa media. But at least it comes from you, the chairman of the Committee on Transportation. So we are going to monitor this, Congressman, and please keep in touch. Kahit na hindi ka namin iniimbitahan, magpaimbita ka na kasi kumisan hindi rin namin alam sa dami. Hindi rin namin alam yung mga kung sino uunahin sa dami. No? But please.
Collectively, Cito, again, this is the Republic of the Philippines. The only country we have.
The program is,
There's always the three co-equal branches of governance who will address this. I am here to help in whatever capacity I can as an elected officials, but we have to do it right. And we have to consider again, Cito, that we have something the world never saw before in our generation. This is pandemic.
Okay.
And
thank you very
again
much
for this opportunity.
Yeah.
Maraming salamat, Cito, sa pagkakataon.
Okay, thank you very much, Congressman Edgar Sarmiento, Chairman, Committee on Transportation of the House of Representatives. Have a good day, sir. Okay, and next up, puntahan naman natin kasi mabuti yung makapagsalita siya kasi baka siya na naman sisihin dito. Katulad nung plaka na hinarang, yung plaka ba sa motorsiklo, hinarang ng isang senador, siya ang nagbayad ng parusa ng mga bikers. We have none other than former senator and hopefully to be senator again, JV Ejercito, author of the Child Safety in Motor Vehicle Act. Senator, good morning.
Good morning, Cito. Magandang umaga po sa inyo. Lagi ako nagiging guest tuwing may controversy.
Mabuti na yung nagiging guest ka para may pagkakataon kang makasagot kasi itong masama Some people don't understand the law, never read the law, nakita lang nila sa social media, sumakay na, pinalala na. Katulad nung sinabi ko,
Tama po.
mga tiga Barangay 411, galit na galit dito. Sabi, bakit kaming mga 411 and below ang pinag-iinitan ninyo? Okay, Senator, ikaw na nga sumagot dito sa problema na to.
Unang-una, Sito, no? Thank you for this opportunity. I think all of this confusion started yesterday when the LTO director, si Attorney Ginto, said in jest na parang sinabi siya when he was being interviewed by in another station, that hindi daw, kung sosobra daw yung ano at nakapatong pa sa car seat, bumili na lang ng mas malaking sasakyan, no? So it was in jest. And I would think, Sito, tama ka. A lot of people, and probably even Attorney Ginto, didn't even read the salient points, at least, of RA 11229, no? Which is the Child Safety in Motor Vehicles Act, which was sponsored and authored by yours truly in the Senate, no? Sito, gusto ko lang din inform ating mga kababayan that ang katulong po natin dito are the road safety advocates, no? I know that you are also an advocate, Sito, being a motor enthusiast, no? Marami tayong naging katulong dito, no? This was patterned on several laws that are now existing in different countries, no? Just to give you an example, Sito, kasi kaya namin tinulak ito, that yung car crash, fatal car crash or involving children is the second biggest, no, na cause of death among children, next to drowning, no? Dito sa Pilipinas lang from 2008 up to 2014, I think, no, if I'm not mistaken, there were 650 fatal crashes involving children. So that was the yung rationale why we really wanted to push for this, kasi according to studies also, Sito, that kung yung infant nakastrap sa car seat, kung magkaroon ng car crash na malakas, 70% yung chances that that infant would survive. Doon naman sa 0 to 4 years old, 50 to 70% yung chances that they will survive, no? So at least malaki yung tsansa. Now, to clarify things, I think yung pong nagkagulo kasi, akala ng mga tao, basta hanggang 12 years old, kinakailangan mag-car seat. My God naman, Sito. May common sense naman, hindi naman nakakasya ang 12 years old sa car seat. Kaya po...
pag kinuha mo yung best friend ng pamangkin ko, 12 years old, 6-footer eh.
ang ano kasi ang nakalagay sa batas, children, no, 12 years and below should not stay in front. Dapat po nasa likod and preferably with car seat. Oo, with car seat. Pero there are exceptions. Ito po yung exception. Use of car seat depends on the height, the weight, and the size of the child. Kung po 4'11" na po yung bata, no, and kaya nang isuot yung adult seatbelt, basta kaya nang isuot yung adult seatbelt, there is no more need for a car seat. So yung car seat lamang, Sito, comes into play pag hindi pa talaga abot yung adult seatbelt. Kasi magiging delikado eh. Di ba? Yun po ang sinasabi sa batas.
In fact, alam ko sa abroad, may sistema nga na kunyari yung bata alanganin na, masyado nang malaki para sa car seat, medyo mababa naman para dun sa seatbelt na proper, ginagawa nila ng booster.
Adult.
Kumbaga sapin, ano po ito? Hindi po ito telephone directory, Talagang binibili itong child booster seat para umangat yung bata at magkasya yung seatbelt. Okay, continue, Senator.
Tama yun, Sito. Kasi ang rationale natin dito, as long as kailangan nakastrap na maigi ang bata, no? Basta kumasya na sa abot niya na yung adult seatbelt, then there's no more need for a car seat, no? Kaya yung sinakamong booster, that is also very much welcome. So, hindi totoo yung mga haka-haka na sabi mo nga, yung iba kasi hindi naman nagbabasa. Nakita lang sa social media, ay nagalit na kaagad, no? There was a furor yesterday na kasi parang hindi raw pinag-isipan. Pinag-isipan po ito. Actually, Sito, we patterned this to about 50 countries that already have a law, no, na yung child safety in motor vehicles, no. So
Mm.
and we had experts from Ateneo, from UP. Ito po yung mga tumulong na i-draft itong batas na ito.
Okay, so Senator JV, basta yung bata kahit hindi 4'11", kunyari, malaking bulas pero hindi naman matangkad at kaya yung seatbelt na i-buckle ng maayos, hindi kailangan ng car seat. Ngayon,
Yes.
yung car seat, sinasabi mo para
Yes.
sa mga sanggol, mga batang maliliit yan na umuupo sa harap. Correct ba?
Well, preferably bawal sa harap sana, no? Sana
Oh,
sa likuran talaga.
oh
Pag
kasi
makakita talaga sa likod sana.
Oh,
Opo.
kasi sa ibang bansa naman, yung car seat pinapabaliktad. Nakaharap dito sa
Sa
palikuran.
likod, yes.
Oo, at
Yes.
naka-buckle down din 'yon, ano. Pero tong batas na ito hangga't maaari ilagay sa likod. Kasi yun
Yes.
na nga yun yung mga problemang technicality kasi meron naman mga nanay na maliliit pa yung anak nila, gusto nila, nakikita nila dahil baka mag-choke. At ako'y may personal na experience yan. Nilagay ko yung anak ko sa likod. Nakalimutan kong nasa likod. nung nakita ka, naalala ko, uy, nakasama ko pala si Hana. Medyo, yun nga lang ang problema. No? But in any case, so, if the
Yeah.
child can be buckled down safely, regardless of the whether they are 4'11" or below, it is allowed, and you
Yes.
agree na if they have a booster seat na hindi direktoryo ng telepono, pwede naman 'yon. Okay. Ano pa ba ang mga masasabi mo tungkol dito sa batas mo? Kasi ikaw ang baka ikaw na naman ang putaktihin yan eh.
Well, oo nga eh. Pero ano lang, siguro I'm just appealing to the public. The law has good intentions, you know. Marami nagsasabi, parang mahal ang car seat, hindi naman para sa third world yan, no?
Hmm.
Na parang dagdag gastos. Pero sa akin, Sito, you know, the life of a child is priceless, no?
Mm.
Kung
Mm.
ikukumpara mo doon sa presyo ng car seat, para lang malaman din ng publiko, no, pinag-aralan din namin yan, ang car seat ranges from 2,000 pesos up to 25,000. So, nandun po ang range. No? Kung gusto yung medyo on tight ang budget, mayroon namang ICC approved na tag 2,000 to 3,000 pesos lamang. So, para sa akin, the intention of the law is noble. It's
Mhm.
saving the lives of our children. So, sana let's give it a chance.
Mm.
I hope na understand. Kasi parang kahapon, kakwentuhan ko si Governor Susan Yap, she was telling me na meron siyang kaibigan na nasagasaan sa Esitex yung isang gulong na nahulog sa truck. Tapos turn turtle yung van na sinasakyan. At they were very thankful na naka-car seat yung bata na sakila. Kasi kung hindi, talagang for sure tuminapo na yung bata palabas. Kasi kung, lalo na ang van, no?
Mm.
Turn turtle. So, I
Well,
think
tama ka dyan,
it's
Yeah.
worth it, no?
Tama ka dyan, Senator, because I have personal knowledge of at least 2 cases na yung sasakyan dumula sa kalsada, tumama sa poste o sa bangketa, yung tig-isa, tapos tumapon yung bata na nasa likod ng kotse, lumusot sa windshield.
Ay,
Tapos unboxing. Kaya yan ang iniiwasan ninyo dyan sa car seat. So,
Oh,
imbis na
yes.
babuyin at
Yes.
lamutakin yung batas, ay basahin yung batas. Ngayon, ang tanong, no, Senator JB, paano raw yung mga sasakyan at na pampubliko o kaya yung mga yung mga Grab, mga taxi, paano na yan kung public transport, wala namang car seat? Or will we require
Yes.
Grabs to have car seat?
Well, Sito, that's a very good question, no? It is also stated in the law na pag-aralan namin yan that it will be a challenge, no? Lalo na sa mga buses and jeepneys. But it is also stated in the law that the OTR is given 1 year after upon implementation. After 1 year, they have to recommend, they have to make a study and recommend to Congress kung ano yung pwede nilang gawin about requiring car seats, no? Or itong child safety sa mga public utility vehicles. So they have 1 year, no, Sito, to make their studies and make the recommendations.
Okay, so after that, pwedeng medyo i-fine-tune yung batas o baguhin yung mga
Yes.
provision. Ito ngayon ang tanong dyan, Senator, no? Kasi you have 1 year na observation period. Ang problema, doon sa observation period, aray ko, first offense, 1,000. Second offense, 2,000. Third offense, ewan ko, magkano na ba yun? 5,000 yata. Ayun, third offense, 5,000 and suspension of driver's license. Kung sinusuri pa kung tama o mali yung provisions of law, hindi ba dapat bawasan muna yung mga multa?
Well, ano mo, Sito, no? Especially in this time of pandemic, no, we have to adapt to the situation, no? In the same way, I appeal to Senator Gordon, no, na sana yung sa plate number, no, do sa Crime Prevention Act na ipagpaliban muna, because alam naman natin ang papel ng ating mga riders ngayon, they're the lifeblood of our economy, no? Sila tutulong sa ekonomiya natin, eh.
Pasensya ka na, Senator JV, kasi nung nabanggit mo yung plaka na yan, noon huhulihin mo lahat ng nakamotorsiklo. Ngayon, nakamask na, nakano pa, wala tayong tanong, basta nag-deliver ng Shopee Lazada, ewan ko ba?
Opo.
Okay, anyway, continue.
Tsaka nakita natin na we have to adapt to the situation. Tulad nung universal healthcare, no, which we discussed recently, Sito, na nagkaroon din ng uproar, no, yung mga employees o FWs because of the increase in contributions. Ako bilang principal sponsor and author of UHC and now principal sponsor and author of this measure, I am in favor of suspending first, no, na itong mga binanggit mong mga multa, especially it's pandemic. Children are always at home, wala naman masyado, binabawal naman bumiyahe ang mga bata, hindi rin sila pumapasok. So, para hindi na rin makadagdag sa gastos, while there's a pandemic, siguro, ano na muna na, we held in abeyance, no, the implementation of this law. Kasi, naman it will, make sense. Kasi, ang bata naman nasa bahay lang.
Okay. JB Sen, quick break lang tayo. Babalikan kita, commercial lang, and then continue tayo ng ating discussion. We'll be right back here on Agenda. Okay, you're back here on Agenda and with Senator JV Ejercito. JV Sen, ginagawa ko ng Tito Sen JV Sen. Okay, si Congressman Edgar Sarmiento, in our earlier interview, he said that he wants Congress to push for the delay of the implementation of the whole law relative to what you pointed out, that we are in a pandemic, we cannot
Yeah.
give added expenses, plus the fact that you have pointed out na, hey, kids aren't allowed. He also said kids aren't allowed outside of the residences. So this car seat business or law that is, it becomes moot and academic, so to speak.
Yes. Sito, going back, no, as the principal sponsor and author of the in the Senate of RA 11229, I am in favor of suspending or holding in abeyance the implementation. As you mentioned, there's no
Mm,
school and children are not supposed to be out, no.
mm,
So there's no need for the law to be implemented, no. And during the duration of the pandemic, I would suggest that we suspend it, just like in the Universal Healthcare Law, when the president already suspended the increases in contribution. So we have to adapt to the situation, Sito. No, again,
mm,
I heard Congressman Sarmiento mention that nobody really foresaw this pandemic coming. No, it's a
mm.
really an abnormal situation. So the government has to really adapt. So as the sponsor again, I am not against, and I'm in favor of suspending the law while there's pandemic.
Okay, we are down to our last few minutes on the program, Senator. I think you've clarified most of that. And parang ang nangyayari, matagal ko na rin inoobserbahan yung career mo as a legislator. Pinuri kita ng husto nung nilabas mo yung, ano ba yun, yung kasambahay law ba yun? Yung ba
Yes.
tawag noon? Oh, yung kasambahay law. Kasi talagang malaking pagkilala at pagtulong yan sa mga kasambahay, nakatulong na itaas yung kanilang mga sweldo, yung kanilang antas sa buhay, no? Their stature in life. In the Philippines, they earned respect because of that law. Then you did the PhilHealth, the Universal Healthcare Law. You've done this thing with the for the children's safety. If you had a chance, or if you could actually make suggestions for legislative agenda, given our reality, what do you think we should pay attention to? Kasi parang everybody's talking about COVID-19 na lang forever eh. Ano ba sa palagay mo kasi ngayon ikaw, alam ko panay ang bisikleta mo, panay ang motor mo, ikaw ay lagalag ngayon.
Well, Sito, this pandemic really caught everybody by surprise. No? Not only our
Mm.
country, the whole world. No. Recently, Sito, I just came from La Union and
Mm.
Ilocos Sur because I'm also helping Department of Tourism promote motorismo. Because
Oh.
in the next 2 to 3 years, Sito, there will be no international tourism arrival. So DOT wants to promote domestic tourism to help the tourism industry kasi 5 million ang rito 5 million jobs are
Mm.
dependent on tourism. And from what I observe dito in going to Vegan and La Union, wow, Sito, I can believe my eyes yung Cali Crisologo, which used to be always packed from morning
Mm.
until midnight.
Mm.
Wow, there was hardly any people and about 30 to 40% of the shops have closed already. So,
Right.
ang talaga natin, I think, Sito, we really have to learn to live with the virus, no? Which I think will be with us for the next 2 to 3 years pa.
Mm.
Hoping that the vaccines would come soon and para magkaroon tayong economic recovery. But in the meantime, the only way we can survive is really to support one another, yung ating local industries,
Mm.
by Filipino, and probably itong domestic tourism, no? This will, yung kasi ito, yung multiplier effect nito to the economy would certainly help a lot. Kaya yung mga kababayan natin, yung mga may kaya, total, hindi naman tayo pwedeng bumiyahe abroad. Yung gagastusin natin dolyares doon, dito na lang natin gastusin. And I think this would certainly help a lot. No? Kasi nakakaawa talaga sito.
Ako. Oh.
Seeing all of these former hotspots of tourism are almost deserted. No, we have to help
Mm.
each other survive.
Well, I agree with you on that 100%. Unfortunately, some people like Tim Yap at saka si Mayor Magalong, in an effort to promote Baguio City, the critics slammed the party and the failure to wear masks, but not the effort to promote Baguio. Kasi from what I heard, na-test naman daw lahat yung nagpunta doon, controlled, limited lang yung pinapunta, pero anak ng ewan, pinutakti rin in trying to promote tourism. But in any case, you're very right there. Pero ikaw ba nakukonsulta ka pa, Senator JB, ng mga powers that be now that you are a private citizen?
Once in a while, siguro, rarely, pero siguro like when there was a problem with the contributions of UHC for being the principal sponsor and author of Universal Healthcare, I gave my piece, no, para doon sa contributions. Tapos dito naman sa, I'm helping right now on a private capacity. Kasi rider ako, I'm a motor enthusiast, I travel a lot. So Department of Tourism, SecBerna, and I are joining efforts, no, to promote domestic tourism through motorismo. So at least ang hirap kasi Cito nung kahit nasa private citizen, it's so hard to see things just go by, no, na wala kang ginagawa. So at least we're doing something on our own little way.
Okay, well, I am hoping, praying, and I promise to support you kung magdesisyon kang bumalik sa Senado at kung hindi naman, sa ikaunlad ng bayan, tayo ay magbisikleta na lang. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Senator JB.
Thank you. Thank you, Cito. Anytime.
Okay. Yan po si Senator JV Ejercito. Alam niyo po, I can be objective about this. He came up with so many good laws. Lalo na yung plaka sa motor, maganda yung kanyang batas. Kanya lang, alam niyo po, Senate, Congress, it is a society of consultations. Bigayan. Pag hindi ka bumigay, haharangin naman yung batas mo. So, ang nangyari si JB naipit dun sa plaka sa motor. Ito naman, dito sa Child Seat Act, maraming tumira, hindi naman nabasa yung batas. So, ayan, klaro po natin. We hope that you learned a few things today. You got clarification regarding these things, and don't worry. Hindi naman hindi kayo apektado kasi bawal lumabas ang bata. Okay, anyway, we have a netizen report. Let's see what our viewers have to say.
One of last week's top stories was the slow progress of new voter registration. So we asked you, have you already registered to vote? Netizen Jose Badajos says he plans to register, but he has yet to do so in fear of contracting the coronavirus. Jose adds, commuting during the time of pandemic is such a hassle, so he suggests the registration process should be done online. Meanwhile, netizen Curlin Bobadilla took time to share her thoughts on exercising a right to vote. She says she is hopeful that today's youth will be smart enough to take part in the polls, especially since a lot has happened in the country the past few years. Curlin believes that Filipinos can be more discerning in choosing their next leader. We also discussed on the show the surging prices of food with stakeholders in the agriculture sector. And we asked you, how do you want the government to manage these high prices? Netizen John Barrion says the government should allocate more funds to help local producers and strengthen the industry. This is so that we won't have to rely heavily on importation, which he believes will not solve the problem at hand. Netizen Harold Glock says the issue is simply supply and demand. Unlike John, Harold believes importation can help us solve our problems. But he also thinks that the officials who would be in charge of imports should have a clean track record and proven integrity. Lastly, netizen J.L. Ferrer says that the government should have a public consultation first and foremost. JL appeals for unity, and this can be shown when officials talk to farmers, fisherfolk, and all the other stakeholders who work on the ground.
Okay, regarding the price control or price cap on the price of pork and chicken, please read my column for tomorrow in Philippine Star Cito opinion section. Mababasa rin naman ninyo online yon kung hindi kayo inaabot ng dyaryo at malayo kayo. But there I address this problem and I hope that we can tackle it tomorrow as well. Thank you for joining us. Have a good day. God bless all of you. And I thank the Lord for all His blessings upon me, my family, and upon all of you in our nation. Take care. Love you all.